What's going on, people? It is now the 2nd of April. My coffee is good this morning. My mood is, it's going to improve, but listening to the morning news is very sobering every day. The gravity of the sum total of what we're dealing with just continues to set in for the world, and so the way that I'm looking at it is that, and I'm always looking ahead as well as seeing what's happening now. So right now we're dealing with the total shock of the economic stop, which is really for many people it's been a stop, and the wreckage of that getting through April. People are just now, how is this going to happen? How are we going to do this? But the implication that I see, that is the one that is not, there's no point in worrying about it, but it's the one that I see that indeed is important, is if things get so dicey that we're not able to continue holding up the infrastructure of things like electricity and running water. So I'm thinking that far ahead, because what we're dealing with really could break down the continuity of social norms in a big way. So I'm just watching how things are playing out. The one thing that keeps my attention regarding the actual virus is the way that it keeps spreading and the demand on the health system and people. That's one of the real tipping points of all this. Is we're at, many places are at overload, and unless the spread can be reduced, mitigated, and stopped, that's just an ongoing, growing nightmare. So the news is sobering, and this is far from over. And I'm just staying home, and I'm going to stay in the house actually today. They're talking now about having everybody wear masks, and sure enough, you want to know an update of what happened yesterday with my hillbilly neighbors. Just what I figured. I went ahead and went outside yesterday and did some yard work. If you follow me on Facebook, you saw my pictures. I worked on my backyard with the idea I would do the front yard today. But I worked on the backyard, and then I sat in the front yard getting sun. And sure enough, the neighbors across the street started to come out. Now, again, I sort of know these people. I've been there for a long time. And the woman who lived there when I moved in died about 4 or 5 years ago. But it was a situation that's very common in the cities, where it's a grandmother raising her grandchild. And I ended up becoming his tutor for a time when I was doing tutoring. I've done a lot of mentoring and tutoring. And I remember I could say the boys, well, he's a man now, got a lot of kids, grandkids too. But I could tell that this boy was hard-headed and was going to be a fairly typical jerk type of guy. A lot of guys are typically jerks, especially when it comes to women. So sure enough, after Della died and what's his face, basically inherited the house, it's just gone to hell. And now I can't even tell that he's there, but the house is full of a couple of his girls, and I knew there was 3 kids there. But yesterday, 5 little babies, 5 little ones, besides the 2 that I see all the time. So where did they come from? Then out comes this young girl. She looks to me like a teenager, and she's pregnant. I'm not running these people down. I'm telling you what's going on, and this is just a really typical, it's so typical of the world, the people are living. Then I make another observation, So they put a speaker out up in the window so they could have the jams out in the front yard, which this is the way it is in the inner city. People play the music outside loud. So I was, decided, well, let me listen to, and the first thing that I'll observe, and some of you won't like what I'm about to say, and I don't care. This is my laser observation. Whether it's true or not, it's what I see. A big part of the urban music that is popular in the cities, not just with blacks, but with all kinds of people, is what I call this slow sex beat, reproduction beat. People want to say that it's the evolution of hip hop, but this is not that. This is this fuck music, okay? We've always had slow jams, but I'm going to say it in a condescending way because I don't like it. I don't like it. It's fuck music where the entire focus of it is rhythms that make the body want to fuck. The rhythm, the tones of the bass that women respond to bass. I'm not putting on the women. Just hear me out, people. Don't care if you don't like what I'm saying. These are my observations. So I'm hearing the sex beat, and then here comes the rap. I don't know who it is. Thank God, because it is the dumbest shit. Because they're listening to sex rap, which is basically moaning about, what do you see in him, and why, my life is broken because I can't fuck you, basically, really stupid music. And it just goes with what I see, which has a lot to do with why I'm disconnected from that music. I love those people, but if I could raise them up mentally and esteem-wise, that music would change. It's fine to have a sex beat, but all the time, and you can't afford the babies you have, and you're having more, and this has been going on for generations, and I just have been always wondering, this just doesn't make sense. I know it's part of human nature, but when we can see A plus B equals C, and we still keep doing it, even though we can't handle it, I don't understand. So what did I play yesterday besides doing yard work and dancing? I put a video on of me dancing, getting exercise. Played Split Ends, the Australian band Mental Notes. This is a version of their first records that came out in Australia. Yeah, I first paid attention to them first because of the cover, and then I saw that it was produced by Phil Manzanera of Roxy Music. So I bought this right away when it came out in America. I liked the music. These words about relationships, it's like, I think I'm Asperger's. I just really don't do well with the coupling shit. So I don't care about it, okay? I don't care about those words and all these words about girls and love and fuck. I don't give a fuck. So it's the music is interesting, The other thing is why I say I'm probably Asperger's is because I'm not a breeder. If I was reproducing, I'd probably have a different attitude, but I'm not trying to bring kids into this world. And a lot of what people put up with in relationships just to have sex, I'm not up for that. I don't, I've had enough girlfriends in my life where it's like, as soon as we start doing it, it's like, God, I can't stand you. And this is really common. I'm got off of that merry-go-round. Vangelis Spiral, he just had a birthday recently. And what I like about Vangelis is there's just a subtle optimism in his music, almost like fairy tales. I just love it. Very expansive. I love it. Played this again really loud yesterday. Matter of fact, it was actually my antidote to my neighbor's crap. I opened my window in my music room yesterday and turned this up loud. This is bad fucking ass. That's the word to use, the Young Gods. Then, because I was digging it so much, I do watch stuff on the screen. I got some videos off of YouTube of Young Gods live and some other stuff, put it on a USB and put it out on my Roku TV. That's how I watch TV out there because I don't have cable. And there's a couple of clips of them doing this stuff acoustic, and it was like, wow, the Young Gods. Opeth, Deliverance. These are my dudes. growling vocals and all these are my dudes. Yeah, you hear the metal in my playing. It's there. I'm a rocker. I'm not a jazzer. See, that's the other thing about me. You know, I am my parents' son. My parents were jazzers. I like that music, but what do kids do? We need to define ourselves. I'm a rocker. Love this band. Deliverance. Love it. That's the main thing I have to show. Okay, 10 minutes. People, I'm still smiling. I know it's tough. Are you among the folks who are trying to get on unemployment? The system is crashing, I understand, because so many people are trying to apply. Why am I not worried about money? Because it's been so long since even though I worked, I was raised spiritually rich, financially poor. So I'm used to not having any money, so it's no big deal to me. I have enough to pay my bills. Everything's closed, so what do you need the rest of the money for? Thank God for Zen mind. You know, Zen is the thing that I like best about returning to a Zen point of view is a lot of our frustration, angst, anxiety, stress, and madness comes from the mind grasping. So let me give an example and then I'll go. So say there's two people sitting in this room. One is calm and one is a worrywart. Nothing's happening, but they're just sitting in the room and these are two personalities and they try to talk. So the calm person will bring something up and the worrywart will bring up worries. Well, what if, and this, da 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 da. And then the other person says, then the calm person will say, well, is it happening? No. Did it happen recently? No. Where is the upset? Where does it exist in this room? Is it here? Is it tangible? No. Well, change the channel in your brain and look at something else. So the person calms down. They say, oh, okay. The other calm person just continues sitting. A few minutes go by and then the other person starts to worry again. And then it becomes another issue. And then the calm person says, did something come in the room? Did something happen? Did I miss something? Where is all this flux and this chaos go? Where is this happening at? And the person caught up in it, maybe they'll finally say, oh, it's just in my head. I keep stirring it up. And yet when I stir it up, nothing externally happens. The sky's not falling. Just be. It's a good thing to be able to just sit and exist. It works.